You are finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, they could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now, thief.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? The Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. What if they've captured you? Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman is waiting.
Good. Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Dibella, Kinnereth, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at him. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this. This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Vilod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny. When I was a boy, Imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Who are they, Daddy? Where are they going?
To go inside.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
Inside the house. Now.
Whoa.
Yes, Papa.
Get these prisoners out of the carts. Move it!
Why are we stopping?
Why do you think? End of the line. Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
No, wait! We're not rebels!
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them! We weren't with you! This is a mistake!
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Ralof of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
No! I'm not a rebel! You can't do this!
Halt!
You're not gonna kill me!
Archers! Anyone else feel like running?
Wait. You there. Step forward. Who are you?
Well, now that is a question. So, who am I? Well, obviously, I'm a woman. But, who am I? I could be a wood elf. Could be a Khajiit, come to make my way in a much, much colder land. I could be an orc. I could be an orc come to fight for the Imperials, maybe. Or I could be an Imperial myself. But I could have come to fight for the Stormcloaks instead. That, my friends, could not be further from the truth. For you see, there is a tale to be had, one of treasures lost and love forgotten, a tale full of tragedy, heartache, and betrayal. A horrendous story, but a story nonetheless. Ariana. That is the name of said woman you see before you. Whether that is her true identity remains to be seen, for this tale is not meant to focus on her past. It is meant to tell her future. But to write one's future, we must know where one came from, and Ariana came from quite a place indeed. You see, her father was one of the wealthiest men in the land. His trinkets rivaled all others in his trade, and because of this, he was able to provide glorious luxury to his wife and his only daughter. But times were not meant to remain so prosperous for the merchant, for a few bad deals led he and his family into poverty, and poverty led said merchant to drink and drink some more. They had to sell everything just to feed his thirst, and when there was nothing left, the merchant's wife began selling herself to the lesser man, just to put a loaf of bread on their poor, decrepit table. But such degrading behavior would not last forever. When the time came for the man's wife to have enough, she took everything that mattered and fled into the night. But what she failed to bring along was her one and only daughter. Without a mother to care for her, and with a father too consumed by drink to recognize even himself, Ariana was left alone and became the sole provider for the family. She stole from the market stalls, she pilfered from pockets. Once or twice, guards were known to turn a blind eye until she picked the wrong man's coat. The man was a noble, one that had once rivaled her father even. He had been gleeful to learn of the family's misfortune, and now it seemed things were about to become the worst they had ever been. The nobleman made a deal with Ariana's father, that she be sold into his service instead of spending the next several years in an orphanage, or worse, a prison. The father, with the sight of gold dangling before his eyes, could not resist, and without a word of goodbye, turned his back on his one and only child. Ariana believed that this would be best for her, that she would grow in a home filled with wealth as she once had. But that was not to be. You see, the nobleman had secret dealings with bandits of their hold, and when he got a hold of Ariana, he took her to those bandits and sold her into their service. For the next several years, until she reached womanhood, she remained with them. For a time, she was as their slave, with no rights, no hope, broken, without a care. But as she grew older, her beauty began to fade, for Ariana had been the most beautiful in their city. But with time of being so broken, that beauty began to fade. And so, the bandits had no need for their disgusting behavior, and decided to teach her their trade. For if she was to be in their band, why not make use of her? So Ariana went back to pilfering and stealing and drinking with the men after their raids. But then they did not realize that what they were training her to be would come back to bite them, because they began to trust Ariana so much that one night they struck the bonds from her wrists and let her walk the camp freely. But they did not realize that though they had come to raise her as a daughter, that she would slit every one of their throats and take what gold she could carry and run. So Ariana, after leaving this bandit service, decided that she had nowhere to go. What could she be? She'd never held a job. She barely had ever held a title for any length of time. What could she possibly accomplish? So Ariana decided to take revenge, for she was a very spiteful and angry child for what her mother and her father had done. So she went back to the city where her father still remained, drunker and poorer than she had ever seen him. He begged at her feet for forgiveness after seeing what those bandits had put her through and what they had turned her into. for she was no longer a woman of beauty, but an old-looking hag. So he wept for her, and still she also slit his throat. So after exacting her revenge and feeling still empty, Ariana wandered. She still stole when she could from anybody, but she never killed. But Ariana's little escapades into stealing were not always fruitful, and they were not always unseen. After being chased by guards into a next town over, she took refuge in a temple. It happened to be a temple of Dibella. Now, Ariana was not raised to believe so much in the gods, not to put so much stock in them. But as she sat in this refuge and she slept, the goddess Dibella looked down on her and realized that this woman could be of use to her, because she used to be so beautiful that what if she could use the arts of Dibella in her name and make a name for herself. So Dibella reached down from the heavens and touched Ariana's forehead and turned her into one of her temptresses. Now temptresses are blessed by Dibella only, devoted to women and no other. Only few are selected this beauty and magical power. They are feared and respected by all Tamriel, and their seductive charm knows no bounds. Ariana awoke the next morning realizing that she felt different, and when she went to bathe in a nearby creek, she realized that she was beautiful again. She no longer bore the scars of time. She looked like her old self. So using this, she got a room at the inn, using the arts that she had learned from these bandits, and from then on, continued her crime trade until it landed her here. So, this is where the story of Ariana begins, not ends. Because Ariana, even in this state, even after watching a man right before her eyes be shot in the back, even seeing the headsman's block in front of her, being with these stormcloaks and these Imperials, she's not afraid. Because she knows that she has one thing that they don't. She has a fire, and she has a fight, and she is certainly not going down without one.